Hello and welcome to another Punters Guide. It's a midsummer's days at Racing to look forward to. We've got a week until the King George at Ascot, then Glorious Good was lots to look forward to. A quieter weekend though, I think it's fair to say, Jason. We've got the jumpers in action at Market Raisin, but some decent fares still on the cards at Newbury.
Yeah, and I suppose the opportunity, Matt, for some of those horses that were bought at the lower end of the scale, even though there's still a lot of money sort of sloshing around, and their opportunity to run for a massive pot. And that is what we've got, isn't it, with the Super Sprint? You remember last year, it was a bit of a gimme. Relief Rally turned up and basically it was a lap of honour. So this time round, I think it's going to be a little bit deeper. It's going to be tougher and probably somewhere around 5-1 the field, I should imagine.
Yeah, it looks a bit more competitive. I know you've got history in this, having a couple of big price place runners as well. So I'll find out what you fancy in the Super Sprint shortly. We start at 150 though with the Stevenson Stakes, won last year by LRC, but the owner's got a very interesting contender in Al-Yanabi, who's upped in trip. I know you liked him at the beginning of the season. A strong hand for the Shadwell team.
Yeah, they have. Two of these, obviously Phantom Flight, he ran for a different team and made the running in this when Al-Arsi came through and picked them up late in the day last season. Savvy Victory is a tidy horse, and Sons and Lovers has been keeping good company. But you're right. I think you need to focus around Ali and Arbi and Al-Arsi. I don't know, Al-Yanabi, did he jump off the page as if he wanted to go 1.25 miles? I don't know. And he looks a little bit of a rounded barrel type. Whether the extra distance is going to be ideal, I don't know. What I do like is that Tom Marquand gets a free swing, a free stab at Al-Arsi, if you like, because he's not the easiest, but you can ride him really, really cold. He can nearly go out there with no pressure whatsoever. And that's how Al-Arsi loves to be ridden, isn't he? Dropped in, take his time. I think he could come through and cause a little bit of a surprise here if Al-Yanabi doesn't stay. And that's the way I'm going to play it.
Okay, then with Al-Arsi to retain his crown and win back-to-back Stevenson Stakes. Got a big pot, £80,000 in prize up for grabs for a stay-in handicap. Again, looks wide open. We've got Baid's brother in here, going twice as far as he did, obviously the star man. We've got Pridwin, who's a revelation on the all-weather, and Kyla Lockhall, she ran a cracker last time out.
Yeah, plenty of strong form to get stuck into. You mentioned all the pedigrees. We've got a half-sister, the pile driver, Shag Pile. She goes for the Muir Grassic combination. I suppose when you go down, Nakib's on a little bit of a recovery mission. He's run some clunkers in the past, hasn't he? He looked as if he was going to make up into a really, really good cup horse. Pridwin, after good wins on the all-weather and the all-weather championship, he then was lapped, wasn't he, in the Gold Cup. I wonder how he's going to bounce out of that. And Kyle of Loch, you're right. I thought the win at Salisbury was really good, and the Ascot Stakes run over 2.5 miles was excellent. But all the way down the bottom, Dancing in Paris, Ian Williams' team are in good form. Absolutely no weight on its back, a weight that Kieran O'Neill can do quite well as well. First time up in trip at Ascot last time, holds on from a fast finishing balding runner, always doing enough to keep that one at bay, and goes up to this trip for the first time. Why won't he be able to serve it up to the rest of them? I think if he settles, he's the handicapper who's improving.
Okay, Dancing in Paris right down the bottom. We've got a group race sprint at 3 o'clock, the Hackwood Stakes. It's a group 3, but if this was a group 1, you wouldn't really crab it, would you? Got some brilliant runners in here. Regional, of course, who missed the July Cup. He'll need the ground to drought Elite Status, who missed the Commonwealth Cup, obviously after winning here early on in the season. Lake Forest was second in that last year Gimcrack winner. I mean, this is a brilliant contest.
Yeah, was lucky enough to speak to Stuart Williams after he had a winner at Yarmouth earlier in the week. And he said, look, Quinault is going in there, having not run a bad race at Ascot himself. He gave it away at the gate. And he was saying exactly the same as you. It's like a rerun of one of those Group 1s, isn't it? Because that's the division where they're all at the moment. Quinault's going to be a fascinating contender at a massive price with Oisin Murphy on board if he gets away on terms. But I looked down through them. It was a big run from Lake Forest, from the back of the pack to come forward. Surely Kind of Blue is just the type of sprinter that James Fanshawe does really, really well with. The Dam is an unraced sister to Deacon Blues and the Tin Man, who were very good for James. Fourth, about a length and 3/4 behind Lake Forest last time when they both chased home Inisherin. I thought that the prices for him, you know, one of them's around about 9-2, one of them's about 14, 16-1. Surely Kind of Blue is a big each way player in here. It's easy to think regional or just go and win and get the job done. But I think Kind of Blue has been underestimated in the market at an each way price.
Yeah, he's got previous James Fanchers with the sprinters and just his fourth start as well. No doubt plenty of improvement still to come. Now the big one, it is a super sprint, as we say, a lot more wide open than we had certainly last year. We've had in other years as well. It does look a really competitive contest. But I know you usually like one at a price and you've got previous in this race. So where are we aiming? Is it 1 or 2 darts?
I think 2 darts. I think you need to go 1 high, 1 low, because there's probably going to be a split. The majority of the pace is drawn in the high numbers. And I could see a lot of people will be latching on to It Ain't Two for Oisin Murphy and Hugo Palmer. That form is very, very strong from Sandown. He's coming, or she, sorry, is coming from the high numbers. Oisin getting down to his absolute minimum to ride. But I watched all the replays back. Time for Sandals, who goes for Harry Eustace and Richard Kingscote, is drawn over in stall 1, has only got 1 horse of Archie Watson's, who's likely to push forward from the low numbers, so should get a lead off that. But Time for Sandals, not fully extended to win at Kempton on racecourse debut. The third is now officially rated 80. I think we can rate her a good bit in front of that, especially with natural improvement as well. I don't mind the fact on their second start, they come back down in distance. I think Harry Eustace played an absolute blinder here. Sansamali, you remember that particular runner for Richard Fahey, doing really well in the Stallion Shed with limited amount of runners so far. So Time for Sandals in the low. And I have to say that it's an easy pick. It Ain't Two in the high numbers. They're not big prices, not double digits, but they're the 2 standouts for me.
Yeah, 2 standouts on either side of the track. Right, that's Newbury looked at. Thank you to Jason for joining us. Look at the flat action in Berkshire. But of course, we've got the jumpers up at Market Raisin Classic contest in Ireland as well to look forward to. So Frankie Foster will take us through that form. And here he is, Frankie Foster. Then let's have a look at the action at Market Raisin, and we'll look at the Irish Oaks as well. Classic contest this afternoon over at the Curragh. We'll start with the jumpers though at Market Raisin. First of all, Frankie, 3 of these in front of the ITV cameras. 2.5 mile handicap hurdle kicks us off. I'm not making it easy for you. This is competitive.
It is, yeah. And maybe some punters will want to keep it simple at the top of the market with Piffo for the John Joe yard. But if you're followers of the Punters Guide, you know I fell out with them last year. I could not get the yard right. I love the team, love John Joe Junior and Senior, but I could not seem to back a winner from the yard all of the season. So maybe he is the simple answer. But Flying Fortune for me for the Bowens gets my nod. Second the last 2 times, and it's the form last time out that I'm interested in at Uttoxeter, because I think Gail Marler, who won the race, trained by Adrian Keatley, could be quite a nice horse. I think that was the 4th win on the trot, and maybe as a horse going places or at least better than this class. So to come 2 lengths behind that and be 9 clear of 3rd suggests to me that there is more in the tank for Flying Fortune, and second the last 2 times, but might get off the mark today or tomorrow.
There we are, and yeah, Flying Fortune for the Bowens, who usually target this meeting as well. And they've got a big chance in the summer plate upcoming. We'll talk about that 3:15 shortly. Before that's the summer hurdle over 2 miles. They will rattle around here, Frankie, on good ground. And again, a wide open contest, as you would expect for the money, £60,000 in prize money.
Yeah, great prize money, isn't there, on offer at Market Raisin? And rattling ground, like you said, I like to side with those dual purpose horses throughout the summer jumping tracks, because you do get quicker ground. You want a horse that's not going to be phased by it. And if they've been racing on the flat on quick surfaces, then I tend to be more persuaded by them. And I mentioned Adrian Keatley trained the horse that beat my selection last time. He trains Quijava in this. The money's coming, and I would say rightly so, because the last time this horse went over hurdles was when winning here off a marker 122, comes here off a 127, and between then and now has been running with credit on the flat. And if you look at the numbers in the form book, they're not great. 10th at York and 9th at Ascot, but they are actually midfield finishes in very hot races and on a quick surface. So provided he jumps well, which there's no reason to suggest that he won't, because he's done it before after being on the flat, then I think he's got to be in with a squeak. He just ticks so many boxes, will get the ground, has won at the course, is on a decent mark, and is in good form.
Maybe only sticking with the same form line. Over timber, what about over fences then? The summer plate, a real good addition to the race card. Of course, £100,000 up for grabs now. And it is a race that the Bowens have targeted. They do like to farm. Frankie de Belay's back for his 300th time in this contest. They've also got Statuario as well. I mean, that will be the starting point for studying. But again, the market suggests there's around about, what, sevens a field. It is a wide open contest, as you would hope for the money.
Yeah, it is. You talk about the old boy Frankie de Belay. I'd give him a chance. Horses do get older and a bit slower, but in a race like this and at a course he knows well, and when he's coming here off the back of being in the frame the last 2 times, I wouldn't put you off an each way bet on Frankie de Belay. That's for sure. And James Bowen obviously rides, so I do like him as a bit of an each way play. I also like Soul Icon, another horse that clearly comes here in good form, being in the frame the last 3 times. And again, in decent races, second up at Ayr, not quite the prize money on offer here, but still 26 grand to the winner that day, and in the mixer, and has been doing it off of a similar mark, slowly rising, but as you'd expect, having been in the frame. So I think Soul Icon would be my main selection. But Frankie de Belay, I think you're going to get a run for your money, aren't you? He's nearly a double figure price, and to cheer an old boy round and get in the frame might not be a bad idea either. So 2 against the field for me, around about 8 to 1, 10 to 1.
There we are then, yeah. So like in the main pit, well, yeah, real like Frankie de Belay at your peril. The 11-year-old knows his way around here, of course, could go around blindfolded. So there's the picks then for Frankie at Market Raisin. We've also got a classic contest at the Curragh in the Irish Oaks and a big field as well. And the market was kind of shook up. Obviously, we expected Port Fairy to be favourite, the Ribblesdale winner, but Ryan Moore has overlooked her and he's going to get on content. So there's been money for her, as you would expect.
Yep, and I am pretty much of the opinion that you always follow what Ryan Moore chooses. If you're going to back one of the O'Brien horses, in my opinion, you just follow Ryan Moore. I can't remember any time in the last couple of years that he's got it wrong in a big race. They have the ammo for him to choose, and he's always on the winning horse. And also because they ride with tactics as well. We all know that they're great at doing it and getting the race ran to suit. So Ryan usually ends up in plumb position, turning for home, and the other O'Brien horse will set the pace, and he gets first crack at it, doesn't he? So I wouldn't put you off backing Ryan, obviously, but it is a competitive race, and there's some really exciting horses in here. Obviously, Lope de Lillis for the Mullins team's exciting to see here, for the team that's having a great season. But I like the French challenger, Dare to Dream. Just looking at that form in the Group 1 in France, Tamfana was in there, who obviously has some brilliant form here, and then also fourth at Longchamp as well. I just think, although she hasn't got in the frame the last 2 times, they have been behind, or there's form mixed in with some of the top horses that we saw in the English 1000 and races over here. And I think that she could just maybe be classy enough to win this. And Port Fairy and Content of Aidan O'Brien's, they haven't been the stars of the season from his yard. So I wonder if there is a chance for other horses to make their case, and Dare to Dream's an each way price to have a go at. So she's my pick in this.
There we are then. The Irish Oaks going to France, according to Frankie. I've got to mention Lope Delilah. So I was there at Leopardstown when she won that maiden. And all right, it was only a maiden. The form hasn't really worked out, but he was the manner of the victory. The fact is that Colin Keane took half a mile to pull up. She went all the way back to the 10 furlong start, which is about half a mile from the winning post, and he could not pull her up. And this is Colin Keane, champion jockey. I just thought she had absolutely loads. She could be anything. Wathnan have obviously got the checkbook out to buy her. And it's not usual, Mo, isn't it? Willie Mullins, jumps trainer from a maiden.
No, it's not.
Down to Group 1, but it might just pay off.
The dominance is spreading, isn't it? He's already having runners over in England for the English Championship. He's trying to take the Irish Oaks on the flat. He's taking the mick.
Yeah, dominance knows no bounds. So, yeah, right. 4 races covered. Thanks to Frankie there for joining us from Market Rasen and Curragh. Thanks for Jason for his previews at Newby as well. Next week, of course, we're looking forward to the King George and Queen Elizabeth Stakes at Ascot, the big Midsummer Group 1 highlight. And the week after that, you'll see me and Frankie at glorious Goodwood. So hopefully we can get a few winners to line the betting bank ahead of those big fixtures.